Kai Sotto is the most slept on draft prospect in the 2022 NBA draft, and in this video, I'm going to be going over everything that makes him so special as a basketball player and why he has an incredibly bright future in the NBA. Sotto is one call away from making history as the first full-blooded Filipino to reach the NBA, and with a full nation behind him, they too see the potential of what this kid can blossom into. He's 7'2", or I've even seen people list him as 7'3", with a 7'5" wingspan, weighing in at around 240 pounds, who honestly has an eerily similar frame to that of Kristaps Porzingis when he was initially drafted by the Knicks, who was 7'3" with a 7'6" wingspan and weighed 230 pounds. Sotto is no top 5 projected pick this year, and he is going to be considered a project by whoever selects him in the draft, but he has all of the tools that show me that with the right development team around him, he can most definitely transform into a star with all of the untapped potential that he possesses. Right out of the gate, Sotto is only 20 years old, so teams have plenty of time to work with him before he should really see any serious NBA minutes, and he's already benefited from playing professionally in Australia like we have seen many times before from NBA prospects, and there's one consensus that is constantly spoken about from players who come out of the NBL, and it's that it's a league that definitely prepares you for the physicality of the NBA. During his 1 year in the NBL, he only managed to play just over 15 minutes a game, but that small sample size was able to give us a glimpse of the many great things he could do on a basketball court at the next level. He did average just 7.5 points per game, nearly a block, 4.5 rebounds. He shot 50% from the field and 38.5% from 3, where you may be wondering as to where the potential lies if you look at these stats, but when you come to terms with the fact that this is Sotto's first time playing basketball professionally, the fact that he only played 23 games and again just 15 minutes per game, you begin to understand exactly why these numbers don't jump out at you. He didn't get anywhere near the regular playing time of a starter, partially because he is a very raw prospect, but in my opinion, it also just didn't seem like he was being utilized to his full potential of being a dynamic stretch big, as it was clear he wasn't asked to shoot many threes, and he even proved himself when he was shooting them, he was also making them at a very high clip. The bottom line is that prior to the NBA draft, there have been multiple teams who have offered the big man a pre-draft workout, and maybe it was a little premature in the eyes of some critics on his decision to enter the draft, but nonetheless, these are all great signs pointing in the direction that a team is most likely going to scoop him up. On top of this, if you translate these stats from the NBL to if he were playing 36 minutes a game, where in this case this would be the minutes of a starter, you begin to see why many NBA teams have already given him these workouts, as they all see the potential in the 7', 20-year-old and what he could eventually bring to the NBA, as this is where the numbers begin to jump out at you when he's being fully utilized. I understand that these stats can be skewed in either direction, but nonetheless, per 36 minutes for Kai Sotto in the NBL, he averaged a double-double of 18 and 11 and nearly 2 blocks a game. Moving on to analyzing what he does on the court, he has incredibly soft hands around the basket with a nice finishing ability, and this also makes him a lob threat at all times, where when you take into account his height and reach, this allows him to be a serious threat that NBA teams would need to account for. He has a great face-up game in the post with a variety of moves he likes to use to get open, which do include jab steps, spins, hooks, and even fadeaways, where all of these, once polished, have the opportunity to be unstoppable because of how high he's able to get his shots off, making it very difficult for defenders to get a solid contest on him. This is especially the case when he pulls up for mid-range jumpers, where oftentimes if there is a defender guarding him tightly, he can simply just take a jump shot right over top of him with hardly any consequences, allowing him to have that shot in his arsenal practically whenever he pleases. His ability to shoot the 3-ball was also put on display, as like I mentioned, he shot 38.5% from 3. He has a pure stroke from beyond the arc, and this is an area where if he further develops his shot, will separate him from a lot of NBA centers and allow him to have a long NBA career being a stretch 5 at his size, because I can assure you there isn't a wide variety of guys in the league standing at 7'3" who can nearly shoot 40% from 3. Although he only took 13 threes in his NBL campaign, this doesn't worry me all too much and is clearly an issue with either his confidence to take those types of shots or the situation in which was present in his role in the NBL. Another area that can also assist his case of hardly shooting would be the fact that this was once again just the first 20 games of his professional basketball career, and is going to be something something that takes time to gain this confidence in the NBA, and under the right system, who knows how to not only develop him but also utilize him properly in game, I think this is where the sky becomes the limit for him. He's also a decent scorer off the dribble who takes advantage of when defenders make mistakes and usually has counters for guys trying to guess what move he's going to use, which does showcase his high level of basketball IQ and also is terrifying the more he develops his jump shot. We saw multiple times last year when defenders close out on him either beyond the arc or in the mid-range, where he would use this to his advantage, give them a pump fake and blow by whoever was guarding him. He has this crafty ability to have multiple dribble moves to get open and also to drive to the lane using his athleticism, which isn't present in the games of many guys his size. Because of this size, obviously he's also proven to be a solid rebounder and shot blocker, since he has an overpowering amount of length that should absolutely terrify anyone trying to enter the restricted area, as he's also shown to cover a decent amount of space in a small amount of time to get in position for blocks. Now obviously Kai Sotto looks and sounds like an ideal candidate for being a prospect with boatloads of potential, but there are some things that prevent teams from showing any real interest in him in the lottery. Starting with his consistency on both ends, oftentimes in the NBL, you would hope to see Sotto be more aggressive and use more of his size to his advantage, and also be less reluctant to shoot the three ball. On defense, he obviously showed flashes of his potential, but he was also at times showing glimpses of him being undisciplined, where this is most definitely going to be an area to work on, especially for the next level when he goes up against elite bigs. The good thing about this is that both of these are areas that can improve with the right development team and coaching around him. The last major concern for Sotto was his strength, being that he is just 240 pounds, listed at either 7'2 or 7'3, but again, this is a kid who gained 50 pounds since his days from playing prep in Atlanta, as he used to be a skinny 7-footer who weighed like 190 pounds, and if he was able to show that drastic of a change in such a short amount of time, just wait until he gets put onto an NBA program and follows it consistently for a couple of years. All in all, I really do think that Kai Sotto is a prospect that deserves more recognition for himself, but lucky enough, all he needs is to get drafted into the right situation, and by the looks of it, there are many teams interested in his skill set. From there, he'll be able to work his way up until he proves his critics wrong and continues to be a hero in the Filipino community around the world, who will one day inspire the next generation of players who come from a similar background. Let me know down below what team you think Kai Sotto fits best with in the comments. Many people will regret not taking Kai in the draft, as he may seem like a prospect that needs a lot of work before he can become a solid NBA player, but at the same time, he has all the tools to be great at the next level. It's just going to take time and patience, and luckily, time is a luxury for the 20-year-old.